said something about playing video game. What? He said something about playing video game. That's right. Sit down. You tall enough.
You guys, prepare every day for these opportunities. What did it feel like to see, yourself and your teammates make the most of the chances that you got tonight and come out with a win?
It was fun. We were just out there competing and playing hard, and yeah, that was just fun.
Aaron, the poise that you all showed in a long game, what maybe did you think was best about the performance in the second half and on both ends of the floor?
Just our consistency and commitment to the game plan. Obviously, they went on a run, kind of cut our lead in the fourth quarter. It was a lot of back and forth and didn't look the prettiest. But our commitment to our game plan, just trusting, coach and our, play calls on both ends of the court. Trusting that helped us kind of, overcome the run that they made and the way that they cut the gap, and we were able to get a win. So.
We've talked, about the higher volume you've had over the past month and a half, 2 months, whatever it is. But to have the volume you had tonight, to have a guy like Kamara defend you, just what does that do for your confidence, especially knowing what you finished with?
Yeah. Same level of confidence, going out there, just continuing to play aggressive. Obviously, Kamara's a great defender, and, he played great defense tonight. But just kind of shows, the amount of just hard work that kind of has to be put into, being able to go out there and trying to make plays. When you have a defender like that on you, shows, the level of just kind of competitiveness and the growth, at least on my end. And I don't know how else to answer the question.
And Jay Will was just sitting here saying that, you guys were on the game last night and you were telling him to make sure he shoots the ball. I guess why is that your messaging to him, and what ways have you tried to put confidence in him?
I think he's a great shooter from three. He hit some big shots tonight in the fourth quarter. The more confident he is shooting the ball, the more of a threat he is. And teams have to respect that. So, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I pass it to him and he never wants to shoot it. And I'm like potential assists. But I'm glad he stepped up and shot some big ones tonight. So.
When Mark calls a game like this a program win, as somebody who's kind of been through the program with the Thunder and the Blue, how have you seen this organization get you ready to step up in a game like this?
I feel like the organization, all the players, from the Blue to the Thunder, we all do the same thing. Like, we play together, we compete every day, we play hard, and I think that's what we did tonight, and that paid off.
Wiggins, you've been a high-level rim finisher your whole career, really, but what has it taken to get to this point, finishing around the basket?
I'll shout out, one of my player development coaches, Coach David Daigneault. He kind of just always does a good job trying to help keep me grounded and, never getting away from the basics. Every practice day, pregame, all of that we work on, just basic touch-ups, layups around the basket, floaters, and I think he does that with a number of guys. So just shouts to him. He continues to kind of, not allow me to stray away from that and always keep that touch and that, baseline foundation going into workouts.
Did he teach you the layups where you don't actually jump, or is that something that you had coming in?
We work on that. I think I kind of did it a couple times maybe early on, and he kind of wanted to, get more reps with it. So now it's just a part of that. But some of those running lays are like, available. And if you have the touch to make them, then, why not try and get to it sometimes? So just another part of the workout.
Wiggins, what game were you and Jay Will playing?
So I'm not great at video games, but we started on college football, and then we went to 2K, and then he tried to go to Fortnite, and I was like, I'm definitely not doing Fortnite, so I got off. Yeah.
Anybody else?
Fire. Thanks.
J-Will? When, Shea goes running across to get the game ball and the guys do what they do after the game, are you soaking up the performance overall, or are you just enjoying that with your teammates?
Really just enjoying it with my teammates. I saw them grabbing water and doing stuff like that, and I tried to yell at them. I was like, please don't do that. And Wiggs was like, J-Will, you're the main one that does it to everybody else. Like, let us celebrate you. And it just shows, like, how connected we are as a team. Like, everybody in this roster, like, they're my friends. Like, I look at them as my homeboys, my friends. Like, outside of basketball, regardless of if we're in a jersey or not, like, in the day, like, these are my friends. And just being able to experience that with them, like, it was amazing.
I know playing through you offensively is not abnormal. I mean, that's what often happens. But just the volume, did it take you back to some Northside High School days where you're playing point guard for long stretches, state championship game, bringing the ball up the floor and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I felt comfortable. I felt comfortable. It was a fun game. I'm glad Coach trusted me with the ball in my hands. My teammates trusted me to find them for open shots. They trusted me with the ball. It was a fun game for sure.
Jay-Will, on that note, when you find out that the top 6 in the rotation are sitting before this game, like, the responsibility you're going to have, just how does your approach change, if at all?
Honestly, not a lot. I just went into the game thinking the same way that I always think. Just go out there, be an energy guy, help my teammates be the best players they can be, things like that. And, like, if I get more touches, I get more touches. Me and Wiggs were playing the game together last night, and we were talking about it, and we were just talking about the game and talking about who was sitting out. And I was telling him, like I'm just excited to play. Like, I'm excited to go out there, do the same thing. And he was like, J-Will, make sure you shoot the ball, and just things like that. But I was just going out there trying to be myself.
And Mark called this a good program win. When you hear that, what do you think?
I think it just shows how locked in everybody on the roster is. No matter how many minutes we play, no matter if we're in high eye, if we're not, if we're celebrating regardless of what it is, I feel like everybody was ready. We started the game, we were ready. This morning we were ready. We were locked in just like we were on a normal game. The coaches were locked in just like a normal game. Nothing changed. And I think the whole program was locked in, and it just shows how detailed we are in every situation that we're in.
J-Will, just that second half, especially down the stretch where the Trailblazers made it like a 2-point game. You're looking up, you're like, whoa, what happened to the lead? And then all of a sudden, you guys are able to lock in defensively and create this huge gap. Just take me through that moment when you got to kind of just lock in the way you guys did, and obviously not having your top guys out there. And what was that like?
We just kind of locked in on the things that we do best: defense, energy, diving on the ground, communicating, those type of things, moving the ball back and forth. We locked in on those things, and we trusted our offense. We didn't start forcing shots. We got back to what we normally do. We moved the ball around, set screens, collisions, roll, whatever it is. We've been in a lot of situations this year, and we've been in that situation regardless of if the main 6 guys that normally are in those situations aren't in. Like, everybody in this team seen those type of situations, so we just stayed locked in on what we know we're supposed to do.
And then before that tip-in, did you know you were 2 points away from triple-double?
Yeah, the whole night. I think literally the first time I subbed out the game, I think Hart or Chet or somebody said triple-double watch or something like that. And I was saying on the bench, I was like, I feel like I'm going to get a triple-double, or I feel like I'm going to get a double-double with rebounds and assists. And everybody was telling me, like, J-Will, you need to shoot the ball. You need to shoot the ball. You need to score. So I kind of knew throughout the whole game just what my teammates telling me.
Jay-Will, you connected with Isaiah Joe in a couple of those dribble handoffs to set him up, and he's talked about how he's trying to get more comfortable as a movement shooter. As a guy who does set him up, like, what goes into that process to help him get more comfortable?
Honestly, I'm just trying to get him the ball and get his guy away from him, and the rest is up to him. So I kind of always try to think where Zay's going to be at on the floor throughout the plays that we run, or if we're running down the court, I'll kind of just look around, see where everybody is, and just my goal is when he trusts me to run off the screen, I get him the ball and just try my best to get him open.
Jamal, go ahead. You said that when you were on a game with Wiggs that he was telling you, like, make sure you shoot the ball. And that was something you mentioned in Memphis earlier in the week, that Shea tells you constantly to shoot the ball. Is that something you've kind of battled with, like picking your spots? And I guess how has the team maybe pushed you in those moments?
I feel like I overthink it a lot. I try to get the best shot possible. I try to know where guys are on the team. I think tonight I hit a shot, I hit the three-pointer, and I might have missed the next one, but K-Rich hit a shot on the wing, and I had an open shot at the top of the key, and his guy helped, and I could have shot it. But in my mind, I'm thinking, K-Rich just hit one, let me feed him again. So I'm always thinking of trying to get the best shot for the team, and sometimes it makes myself overlook my shot.
Do you have a spot at home for the game ball?
I don't know yet. Honestly, knowing my dad, he steals every award that I get and takes it home, so he might try to take it home with him back to Fort Smith.
Thank you, Joe.
We're good. Y'all have a good night.
These things are real complicated, Mark.
What is that?
So, transcribing app, modern. I'll teach you all about it someday.
Is it going?
Yes. I hope.
Mark, as you were able to meet with the team, talk to them after the win, what maybe was going through you about just seeing the performance of the guys and how poised that they were in a great game?
Yeah, that was a great program win for us. It's one that we can be really proud of as a complete program because that's a reflection of, first of all, having the right guys. Those guys can all play, obviously. But also, having a system in place where they can keep themselves confident and sharp when their role increases, like some guys tonight, and when their role, when they're in the game, when they're not normally in the rotation. And so for guys to all go on the court, be in shape, be in rhythm, and have confidence to step into larger roles or to step into a role is just great for everybody. It's great for, obviously, the players first, and then everybody that touches them and puts the work in behind the scenes. That's one we're really proud of.
Not only were some guys in some kind of a larger offensive roles, but that didn't impact the defense at all, it seems. What did you make of the way that the team played to the defensive identity and played incredibly well?
Yeah, I mean, Grant and Simons are the two guys that we went into the game knowing that we needed to really do a good job on. And Simons, I don't think, scored in the second half. And Grant, we held to 4 points, 2 for 10. And so we kept their attempts down, and we put them in the crowd when they had the ball. And so great job prioritizing that. The offense went in and out at different times, but as you said, the defense, it was there all night, down the stretch especially. We had great defense down the stretch of that game.
And with Jay Will specifically, I just wonder what you saw from him, and I guess what a game like this does for him the rest of the season, even in the role he has to play the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously a really good player, and a player that has gotten a lot better. I mean, he really knows himself. He knows his game. He knows the system cold at this point, and no player comes out of the draft or joins the team knowing all those things. And so he's forged himself into this version of himself. He's kept himself ready, as we've talked about, as his role's been more fluid since Chet's been back. And for him to just step in, play with the confidence and the tightness that he played with tonight on both ends of the floor was very impressive.
We talked about Alex Caruso a bunch, but obviously you didn't start him. I imagine you want to keep his role consistent regardless of who's out there. What can you say about what he did tonight and just wanting to keep his role consistent regardless of who's out there?
Yeah, I mean, we're heading into, we're coming out of a condensed stretch, and we're heading into a condensed stretch, and didn't want to overextend really anybody tonight, despite the fact that we had a bunch of guys out. He's really important for us. He did a great job on Simons, especially down the stretch. I think he gives the team confidence. I think K-Rich is like that too. Jay Will, those guys, they give the team confidence because of the way they play, the way they compete, how inside the team they are at all times. I thought he definitely did that for us in his minutes tonight.
On top of the box score with a triple-double, Jay Will was loud defensively. What did you see from him on that end today?
Everybody was dialed in there. He did a great job. I mean, they're a great offensive rebounding team. Klingen's a load on the glass. He did a great job rebounding the ball. He did a great job in his pick and roll coverages, understanding the game plan on Sharp and on Simon specifically with the amount of pick and rolls they play. I thought he was really, really good, both ends of the floor. And I thought, like I said, defensively, that was a 5-man effort on most of the possessions tonight.
The consensus thing about you guys is no matter who's in the game, no matter who's on the floor for you guys, that defense is one thing that doesn't change, and you talk to other teams, and their players say you guys like move on a string. What does it take for you guys to build that type of defense for consistent, like no matter you guys top 6 guys out for the top ranked defense by far in the league, that you have that same thing tonight?
Yeah, that's why I said it's a program win, and it starts with the guys. Like these are like competitive guys that play inside the team, and we can't instill that in them. Like we do. Sam does a great job of finding guys that kind of sing our song in terms of that stuff, and then it's about stacking days, for the players, whether they're with the Blue or in high intensity workouts, or whether they're bench role players for us. Constantly improving throughout the course of the season, constantly staying ready, constantly staying confident, which is hard when your role is variant. And then all the people, in our program that work behind the scenes with the players that stack the days with them and invest in them. And, we just try to put an infrastructure in place where guys like that can do what they did tonight. And, so that's why that's just a great win for everybody.
Back to Jay Will, dating back to high school, he has had opportunities to basically play point guard for his teams. How much did you kind of, over the course of getting to know him, know about just how deep his history is of that? And what'd you make of just some of the passes that he's picking out tonight, really, as the offense is being orchestrated through him?
Yeah, the passing has always been there. The thing about him, he's a great pressure release. He gets every catch. So when you are getting pressured, we didn't have like a pure point guard in the game tonight, and they're a ball pressure team. That's part of why their defense has been so good. So for us to be able to just throw it to him, he's like a tight end. Like he's like a check down tight end. If things are a little muddled on a possession, you can just find him, and it stabilizes the possession, and you can get to the next action and get to something quality with the ball in the hands of a good decision maker. And so passing's there. It was on display tonight. But, the ability to be able to get those catches, secure the ball, and have a steady hand once he has it is huge, and it was huge in a game like this.
You mentioned tonight being a program win. I feel like a lot of people talk about chemistry with the team, and it mainly just has to do with offense. Can you speak to sort of the defensive chemistry of this team? Because it feels like you guys are playing almost beyond on a string in your rotations and things like that.
Yeah, a lot of these guys have played for us, recently. Not all of them are coming off the bench. And we haven't been great, on that end of the floor out of All-Star break, and some of that's shooting variance, and some of that's us, not really amping it up. In the last 2 games, we stacked 2 straight games where we've really defended at a high level. Memphis was a great defensive performance by the team, and tonight, we replicated that. But yeah, that builds chemistry. And I think the thing that builds chemistry is when people do invisible things that are investments in the team. And we have a bunch of guys that are willing to do that, whether it's screening, whether it's cutting, whether it's running on offense, and then whether it's defending, getting the ball on a rebound, taking a charge, communicating a coverage on defense. And, all those little micro investments, I think are how you build chemistry. And these guys are committed to the invisible things.
Mark, you mentioned that Alex and Kenrich are 2 guys that can give their teammates confidence about staying within the team and the way they play. Are there other ways that they give those guys confidence?
They're definitely like confident people, I think, which translates to the court for them. But they're very self-secure. They're very comfortable inside their own skin. There's a lot of integrity to them as people, which I think when, players come into the NBA and they're trying to find their way and they're trying to figure out how to cut their teeth, when they're seeing guys like that have had success, that are just who they are. They're not pretending to be something they're not. I think it gives them confidence that translates to the court, and then they go out there and they play inside their role in very impactful ways. And Jay Will, is younger, but is cut from that cloth for sure.
Mark, what did you think of just Wiggins' ability to attack the basket and score tonight?
Yeah, he's obviously been on such a great run. The scoring that he's done in the role that he's been in has been very impressive. He's played a pretty narrow role, and yet has gotten a lot done offensively. And on a night like tonight where his role expanded, he's getting guarded by Kamara, who is a very good defensive player that gives him a different look than he probably normally gets. For him to still find it the way he did on a lot of possessions was impressive. He had another really good game, but he's been on a 2-month run now that he's been really cooking.
Anybody else?
Thanks.